Hey, hello and welcome to the Yoga Teacher Collaborative. This is our weekly free training exploring buying motives. Now, this might be something you haven't thought about today, but it could be that missing link that's really going to help you communicate with your students more clearly the value of your classes, your workshops, your courses, your retreats, which in the long term is going to lead to more bookings, selling out those events. So welcome. I cannot wait to dive into this content with you today. If you're here in the Yoga Teacher Collaborative Facebook page, go ahead, use those comments, type in your questions, let me know what resonates with you. And at the end of the session, I'll come back into those comments and answer any of your questions. If you're listening on the podcast, feel free to reach out to me on social media. I always love to answer questions on social media. It's simply Laura Green Yoga. And my name is Laura. I'm a yoga teacher based in Southampton, Hampshire. I am also a yoga teacher trainer, a business mentor, and the author of Teaching Chair Yoga. And these sessions are designed to help you thrive as a yoga teacher, both financially, emotionally, spiritually, by supporting you to upskill as a teacher, but really upskill in the business side as well. And that is what today is, a business training. So call today's session the why of buy. This might be something you've never thought about. And, my background in this is from my background in sales and recruitment, which is my world, 15, 16 years ago before it was all consumed with yoga. And sometimes when you consider these business approaches, they can, for some of us, feel a bit ick. But I feel really okay with them because I believe in the solution of yoga. I believe that yoga can help my students with day-to-day challenges such as back pain, struggling to sleep, with more deep challenges like wanting to feel more sense of connection, wanting to explore a better relationship with their body, wanting to have more spiritual connection. So I believe so strongly in yoga as a solution, and I think it's only right to help people know that yoga can be the solution to what they are experiencing. And that's not always a logical journey for people. So understanding the psychology of buying motives helps you more clearly communicate with your existing students and potential students the value in working with you in your yoga classes, events, retreats, and courses. So when it comes to buying anything, be it a new pair of earrings, be it an appointment with your chiropractor, be it a yoga class, be it a course, a workshop, everybody goes through the same psychological journey, which is about their motives for why they're wanting to buy something. We never buy anything without a motive behind it. Sometimes those motives are obvious. Sometimes those motives are more subconscious or unconscious, but there's always a motive. And people, it has been well studied, do buy from their emotional reaction, that motive first and logic second. So when you understand the motives, you communicate clearly how your yoga matches those motives. We have a win-win. So the first buying motive, and if someone is watching this live in the Yoga Teacher Collaborative, type this in the comments for me. The first and most powerful buying motive is need. When we have a need, we will invest time, money, and energy in getting that need met. So what is a need? I'm going to give you a real life need of mine right now. So a need of mine right now is I have an injury in my Achilles. So I have a really sore Achilles. Now, this has just been niggling away for a while, not hugely bothering me. But in the last week or so, this need has got much more pressing because I'm not able to go out walking every day. I'm having to rest my Achilles. That knocks onto my mental health and my energy levels. And I'm starting to notice that the discomfort in my Achilles is affecting my yoga asana. My Achilles feels weak in standing poses such as tree. So this is becoming a really pressing need. It's been bubbling away under the surface. And when we have a need, we either throw money at it or time. We really want to get the solution. So for instance, I'm sure my Achilles is caused by my walking shoes. So far, I bought my first pair of walking boots. I bought a couple of years ago. They were £175. I think they actually caused the problem. So then I went and bought another pair of walking shoes, which was softer. That was more money on those. Helped for a while, didn't prove a long-term solution. So then I went and bought walking shoes so that my ankle had more movement. So you see, I was repeatedly throwing money at the need. Now I'm going to a chiropractor on Monday, constantly throwing money, time, and energy at this need. So what are the kind of needs that your yoga classes, courses, workshop is addressing? So it could be things like back pain. Back pain is a serious need, and you have to ask yourself, can your yoga help with back pain? We know in many ways yoga can. Simply learning to breathe better can have a powerful influence on back pain. Learning to be more mentally resilient, release stress and anxiety can help back pain. Improving mobility, flexibility, strength, and stability can help with back pain. So yes, yoga can help with back pain. Back pain is a real need. What are the other needs that your specific yoga offerings can help with? Stress, anxiety, tension, headaches, insomnia, real, tangible, obvious needs that someone's very, very aware they have. How do you take someone through that journey? Because your student will have a need, but they might not understand that yoga is the solution, the answer to that need. So for instance, with my Achilles, I don't know what the solution is. I thought it was changing footwear, doesn't appear to be that. It might be the chiropractor, it might not be that. So I'm kind of fumbling around in the dark because I haven't had anyone say, hey, have you got Achilles pain? I might be able to help. So I'm fumbling around looking for the solution. Whereas we can help our students work through the process of understanding that your yoga offering is the solution. So for that, you need to understand symptom, problem, solution, and guide your students through that journey of identifying symptom, Achilles pain, anxiety, stress, back pain, neck and shoulder pain, headaches, whatever that pressing need is, there's the symptom. Then you're helping them understand what the problem is. So say, for instance, it's headaches. That might be neck and shoulder tension from a sedentary lifestyle, from being desk bound. Releasing that with gentle movement at the end of a working day could help. Is the symptom sleep? Now that could be connected to stress. The problem could be a dysregulated nervous system. So the solution could be yoga to help you regulate your nervous system. So you've got to be able to identify the symptom that is commonplace, be able to see what is the problem, and then when you know the problem, sedentary lifestyle, stress, dysregulated nervous system, then you can explain how yoga addresses that problem and gives the release to that symptom. So when your yoga answers a need, that is most important for your students to invest time, money, energy, and resources. So then when you take this back to your website, to your class flyers, to your social media posts, to the words you use to describe, are you talking about need? Now, we often forget this because you've been practicing yoga a long time and you've probably found much deeper subconscious, unconscious reasons why yoga helps you, as opposed to just easing neck and shoulder pain. If I ask you why you did yoga, I'm sure you're saying a lot deeper things. So then in your marketing, you're forgetting to highlight these obvious, clear, surface level needs that many people have that they're prepared to invest time, energy, and resources in. So do a little review for me. Look on your website, look on your social media, look in your email marketing, look at how you describe your classes, look at your posters and see, am I addressing 1, 2, or 3 core common needs that are symptoms people are struggling with that they're prepared to invest money, time, and energy in fixing? Okay. Now, the next buying motive is desire. Now, there's many things that we can desire that yoga can help with. Desire is important, but sometimes it can be a little less tangible than a need. So a desire might be something like community. I desire to feel more a part of community. I desire friendship. I desire connection. I desire a more intimate spiritual practice. I desire to feel at home in my body. Now, desire is powerful, but desire kind of runs as an undercurrent. It can be something someone can desire or crave for quite a long time and do nothing about. Whereas need, people do something about more quickly. So someone might go for years desiring a better relationship with their body. Someone might go for years desiring community, connection, spiritual connection. So it's a very important buying motive, but a little less immediate than need. So how do we tap into desire? Desire marketing is often more about storytelling. It's about when we are more vulnerable and in our words, we speak directly to that person's desire and they feel seen. Like, how did you know that? They read those words and feel those core needs, desires, which often come from a wounding, represented there. So storytelling marketing is about your vulnerability, saying things like, I always craved to feel more at one with my body, to no longer feel disconnected, alienated, or waging war with my body. I really desire to feel love, kindness, compassion towards my body. And I didn't know how to do this. And then I found myself in a yoga class, and over a period of months, I connected to my breath. I felt more kind and accepting of my body. So it's very much more this storytelling, and it's really, really personal. So this is in things like social media, speaking on camera, okay? Using your voice, your story to make a real, personal, vulnerable connection on those desires. I mean, let's take, for instance, community and friendship. Who amongst us right here, and if you're live with me, let's practice. Be vulnerable in the comments. Who here craves friendship? When we're an adult, it's really hard to make new friends. There's less people coming in and out of our circles, and it's harder to feel friendship. And when someone gives voice to that, we realize we're not alone. I've been so busy with my working life that I suddenly realized I'd neglected friendships. And as an adult, I didn't know how to go out and make new friends. And then I came to yoga. And in yoga, sitting in a classroom next to the same people week in, week out, I really came to care for them. And I've developed these friendships where people have a shared interest, a shared passion for yoga, spirituality, kindness, and empathy. I found friends at yoga. Okay, so you feel that's a very different marketing. It's vulnerability, it's sharing, it's being open. So have a think, what are the desires that run under the surface? I think my doorbell's going to ring in a second, that your students might be looking for, that, you know, people can find on a retreat, that they can find on a longer training, or they can find in that weekly class, and start to speak to these. You know, you can maybe be able to mention them briefly in your website, mention them as single words in your posters: connection, friendship, relationship with your body. But it's going to need a little bit more storytelling, a video of you on your website, videos on social media where you are talking to that desire in a personal, real, vulnerable way. This makes potential students feel seen. Seen. And I think that's one of the most important things we desire, is to be seen. So buying motive 1, need, problem, symptom, solution. Sorry, other way around. Symptom, problem, solution. What is the symptom? What is the underlying problem? What is the solution? You can really hit that in a quite obvious way in your marketing. If somebody put a flyer through my door right now promising anything as a solution to Achilles tendinopathy, I would take it. Desire, these core wounds, core unconscious needs, they're just not so prevalent. You need to speak in a vulnerable, open way to that shared need, how yoga has helped you, giving that story of help, and then inviting people to reach out if they feel this, and that you would support them in their journey to trying yoga. Then next buying motive, a bit more fun, is boredom stroke new experiences. People buy from boredom. Again, let me know in the comments if you're live in Facebook, or DM me if you're listening to the podcast. Have you ever bought anything off your phone, scrolling on Instagram because you've been bored? Earrings tends to be the one for me. We do buy from boredom. And this is another reason why I really like people to have online booking systems, to be able to take payment immediately. Someone's scrolling and they see your post about a yoga and spring workshop, a retreat, a restorative yoga evening pop-up, a cacao workshop, and they're just like, oh, that looks different. And you need to capitalize on that moment of boredom by there being a book now, pay now button, because they're bored in the moment. They need to book and pay now. That gives them a little dopamine hit of something cool to do. But if they can't book and pay now, you're going to miss the moment. They'll go, oh, that's interesting, but they can't action it. They can't relieve their boredom yet. So then they'll just keep on scrolling and scroll past you and go and buy a pair of earrings or whatever else it might be. So boredom is a buying motive, but you have to capitalize on the immediate: seen, booked, paid. Okay. Then it's sort of similar, because boredom's an underlying root of it, but new experiences. People are always craving new experiences. So there'll be people in your world that every time a new restaurant opens or something new's happening, they're straight there. And this is where we kind of split. We have people that are always looking for new experiences and people that are looking for familiarity. But new experiences. And this is a trap I often see yoga teachers falling into. You want to be able to rinse and repeat in your business, but you want to be able to put a spin of new on. So a great example, every December, I do a day retreat. It's pretty much the same on paper. There's, a yoga practice in the morning, releasing kind of accumulated tension, a bit of nervous system regulation. We do a meditation workshop, we have lunch, we go for a walk, and then we have a deep rest restorative yoga workshop in the afternoon and a guided yoga hypno sleep, and then they disappear. That is the same. I run it every December. That's time efficient for me. But to make sure I'm always tapping into the new experiences part, I always tweak the name. It's the same offering, but it's a different name. And that name, I might draw on what's happening in the calendar. So if that retreat is coming closer to the winter solstice, I'll call it a winter solstice day retreat. If it's earlier in the month, in December, but it's near a new moon, it'll be a new moon winter retreat. If it's near a full moon hibernation retreat. If it's not really near anything, pre-Christmas chill out or transformative rest. So it's the same thing, but I just tweak the name. And sometimes that alone can give a feeling of newness. So look in your business where you are rinsing and repeating. And this can be often spring retreats, summer retreats, monthly restoratives, where you're always putting it out. It's the same title, same description, same thing that's included. You're very quickly going to saturate some of your market because they just simply go, I've already done that. And people are always looking for new experiences. Those amongst you here that run retreats overseas, this is one of the biggest challenges with running retreats overseas, is that I have many people that retreat with me annually, but they always want to go somewhere new. And the most amount of work involved in running overseas retreats is checking out, planning, working with a new venue. So I try and rinse and repeat a retreat abroad venue for like 2 to 3 years before moving on. But even then, you can be changing the activities, you can change the theme, you can change the workshops. So rinsing, repeating, great for your business, but remember this new experiences buying motive. If someone thinks they've done it before, they might not book it again. Just tweak the name, change the photos, change the colors, and you'll get repeat bookings. And then inviting people, hey, I know you loved this retreat last year. I'm doing a part 2, or, it's happening again, but with a completely different theme. I think you'd love it. Then the flip side of that is the absolute opposite person, the people that buying motive is familiarity and comfort. So again, let's look at the restaurant example with this. There are some people that the second there's a new restaurant in their area, they are just going to go straight there looking for a new experience. Then there's the other half of the world who will tend to go to the same restaurant again and again because they like the consistency, the familiarity. They know what they're going to get. They know they like it and they like the habit. So that's good too. And how you can tap into this is this balance of having things that rinse and repeat, but tweaking the name. So it helps both people. Like I teach a restorative, Friday night restorative every other month, every 6 weeks. So I have my familiarity people. When I come to the beginning of a year, I release all of the dates for all of 2024's restorative yoga. My people that love familiarity and comfort, they go on and they book every single one for the whole year. And I give them that ability to do so. And they know it's in their diary, they know it's familiar, they know they've got their recurring restorative class. Then if I need to do additional marketing, I can market each one as and when it's upcoming, so say 3 weeks before, with a slight tweak of name. And again, I might just look at what's going on in the calendar. So for instance, we've got a full moon on this Monday and we've got an eclipse. So I don't have a restorative this Friday, but if I did, it might be a eclipse, something around the eclipse, just in the marketing. What I'm offering is going to be the same. So you have that balance of rinse and repeat things regularly in your business for the people whose buying motive is familiarity and comfort. Release all of your dates for the year up front so they can go in and book them all in. Then if there's spaces available, market these pop-up events with, 3-week, 4-week lead time, tweaking the name or the theme to help those people that always want a new experience. Next buying motive is always learning. This is probably my buying motive, and therefore many of my students as well, is simply wanting to learn more and more. An insatiable appetite for learning more. And why I'm bringing this up is I think sometimes as yoga teachers, we think our students might not be interested in some of the more depths of the practice, that maybe they're not interested in the philosophy, the 8 limbs, the yama and niyama, the Bhagavad Gita, anatomy. But I've really found that not to be true, and that there is definitely a place for educational workshops. This is separate to retreats, okay, for educational workshops. So understand that your students probably do, many of them, have a vivacious appetite for learning. Then you need to understand, what do they want to learn about? And you can do this by testing the water in classes. So for instance, put on a yoga class next week, just your normal yoga class, but theme it around something anatomical, like the anatomy of the shoulder. And it blows my mind how little generally we know about the anatomy of the human body, unless you have a tangible reason to learn it. And then when we learn about the anatomy of the body, it's really interesting. So if you don't know yourself lots of anatomy, learn through teaching. Decide, okay, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to teach a yoga class on the anatomy of the shoulder. So I'm going to spend some time on Google in my anatomy books, teaching myself about the anatomy of the shoulder. And then disseminate that knowledge in the first 2 to 3 minutes of your class. How many joints are in the shoulder? Start with a question. That's already a great place. 70% of your class will say there's 1 joint in the shoulder, whereas actually there's 4. So as soon as you share something like that, you've got people interested. Oh, there's something for me to learn here. And then you hit that buying motive of wanting to learn. Then go and answer, why are there 4 joints in the shoulder? And if you don't know the answer to that question, go Google, okay? And then the following week, do something on philosophy. Introduce them to a piece of philosophy from the Bhagavad Gita, or one of the limbs of yoga, or something that inspires you. And then do something else, like something else that you're interested in, like maybe a theme from the Wheel of the Year, or something you're interested in, or poetry, something that delights you. And then see, of those varying subjects, what were your students more engaged with? Did they engage more with the anatomy, with the philosophy, or with the other area? And then consider putting on a 2 to 3 hour educational workshop. And in that time, you get to go into a lot more lecture style detail that we can't in class. So say if I was doing an hour-and-a-half online educational workshop, I might take 30 minutes educational. So for instance, tonight I am teaching the realm of emotions. It's my 12-month yoga, tantra, and astrology course. I might spend the first half an hour of the 90-minute sessions tonight doing an educational lecture on tonight's theme, which is eclipses, full moon in Libra, learning about the North Node and the South Node, knowing that those people that are there for education. And then I'll follow that up with an hour's practical exploration in a yoga class. So really know that people want to learn. People will invest money in learning. If they didn't, universities wouldn't exist. People want to learn. So tap into that buying motive. 2 more buying motives. Value. Value for money. Now, this is different to cheap, okay? And we have been and still are in a challenging time with people's accessibility to finances for investing in non-essentials. But that doesn't mean you just have to lessen the prices of everything and make it affordable for everyone. I think what we need to focus more on is fair pricing, and that comes from value, good value for money. So how do we communicate value for money? Think about what are the things your classes, offerings, workshops, courses include. And many a time, teachers include things without sharing that. So for instance, do you include a hands-on touch, small aromatherapy head massage in Shavasana? Do you include some Reiki in Shavasana? Do you include some sound healing in Shavasana? Do you include inspiring poetry in your Shavasana? Just examples. Are you always doing a guided extended relaxation in Shavasana that you could actually record on your phone at the same time and then send it out to your students monthly? What are things that you can do that add value? Making that more obvious in your marketing, this includes, so that it is much easier for your students to identify value for money. And the last buying motive is brand trust. Brand trust, brand loyalty. This is probably one of the most significant buying motives in my community. You know, I've been teaching for 14 years and many of my students have been with me 10 years plus, but I notice this most in my workshops and my retreats. As I've said already, many people retreat with me every single year, sometimes more than once a year, because they trust my brand. So what is it that your brand stands for? You know, what is it that someone going to trust they're always going to get with your brand? So for instance, with me, the brand is very reliable. I'll always be where I am, do what I say. I don't cancel classes. I don't cancel anything. Things run. So you can trust the reliability. I'm always early. I've always got time for you afterwards. So the brand is reliable. I go the extra mile when it comes to customer service. There will always be time for you to talk, to feel seen, heard, and welcome. There'll always be additional information, resources that are sent to you afterwards, extensive PowerPoints. It goes with my CPDs and trainings. People trust the customer service. They trust that it'll be of a certain standard, especially when it comes to retreats abroad. They trust what the standard of the food, the excursions, the venue is going to be like. So brand trust is a really big buying motive. And think about this in your world. What are the yoga clothes brands you always buy from because you trust that they're not see-through, they're not going to fall apart and bobble? What are the brands you don't trust? You know, because they've let you down and they've cancelled at the last minute, something wasn't good or the customer service wasn't there. Brand trust is huge. So how do we cultivate brand trust? By going the extra mile with good customer service, good communication, remembering your students' names, doing what you'll say you'll do. It takes time, but brand trust is a massive buying motive. So quick recap, top to bottom. The quickest, most impactful buying motive is need. We are prepared to quickly invest time, money, energy, resources when we have a need. A need is underpinned by a symptom. I have pain in my Achilles. That then comes with a problem. I don't know the problem. Therefore, I need an expert to help take me through that process of understanding what the problem is to address my solution. Then I need them to provide the solution. Desire. These are sometimes connected to our core wounds: connection, loneliness, friendship, spirituality, body relationships. Okay. We communicate with desire by sharing our vulnerability with a message of hope. So I was experiencing this. I found yoga. Yoga helped me in this way. And be authentic about that. You know, we have to be real and authentic. If yoga didn't help you solve a problem, don't promise it as a solution. Okay. Boredom. Boredom, that means when people are scrolling, they're seeing your stuff, their flyer comes through the door, make it easy to book and pay immediately, capitalizing on that moment of boredom. They get the dopamine hit that they've just done something. Then new experiences. If you're rinsing, repeating in your business, which is a great thing to do, tweak the names, some of the descriptions so something sounds new. Familiarity and comfort. Do rinse and repeat on your business. Share dates way in advance. Do multiple bookings of something. Let someone book out for the whole year. Always learning. Check in with your students. What do they want to learn more about? And we will invest money when we think we're learning. Okay? I put on a lot of educational stuff. Value. Make sure it's fair value for money and that you're communicating clearly all the things that you're including, even the stuff you haven't thought to share before, that you include, so that people can easily identify that that is good value for money. We don't like to buy something that we think is poor value for money. And often we don't like to buy something that we think's too cheap, because that we make a judgment on quality. So fair value, demonstrate what the value is and what's included, and then working on brand trust. Do as you say, don't cancel things, make people feel seen, acknowledged, good follow-up customer service, go the extra mile, be generous with resources, with support, with your time for your students, developing that brand trust. Okay, my lovelies, I hope that this was useful for you today. If you're watching this live, put any questions in the comments on the Facebook group. If you're listening to the podcast, feel free to reach out on social media. If you're listening on the podcast, I'd super appreciate it if you could follow the podcast and rate it as well. This helps more people to find it. And lastly, if you want to work with me, I've got 2 upcoming events I think you'll love in April. So one is a thorough, in-depth CPD training, learning to teach yoga for nervous system regulation. 8-hour CPD, 2 4-hour sessions live on Zoom in April, but you can do it on replay as well. I'll drop a link for that in Facebook and it'll be in the show notes on the podcast. And then also in April is the 5-week Yoga for the Meridian Lines course. Now, this is more for you as a personal exploration, so it's cheaper than my CPD. But still, it will inspire your lessons, your sequencing, your teaching, as you learn to balance, renew, refresh your energy, your chi in your body through understanding the energetic meridian lines, how we can tap into these through meditation, breath work, asana, qigong, and more. So I'd love to connect with you on those courses. Otherwise, I will be sharing a new topic with you very soon. Thank you for being here today. Bye for now.